Rachel Reeves, the UK's Chancellor of the Exchequer, yes, another one, will be announcing a budget very soon, but I wonder if her budget will compensate for the fact that London, well, its financial sector, has lost 40,000 jobs. I doubt it. And while you're here, please boot the old like button. Now, if Rachel Reeves thinks that she's going to be able to compensate for the loss of all those high earners, I think she's on another planet. Now, you see, 40,000 jobs is way higher than what was first thought. They believed it was around 7,000 jobs that were lost since 2016. And we all know what happened in 2016. It was the Brexit. Yes, which pretty much scuppered the financial sector from being able to operate as they did before within the European Union, hence shrinking its market share. Now, many of those jobs have been lost to Dublin and France, Paris, and it was to be expected. They were warned. How many times have I said that? How many times have actual experts said that? Well, 40,000 jobs. Now, you see, in this article, it happens to be in Reuters. They're reflecting on the views of Mainelli, who's he's like the mayor of the financial sector. It's his job to oversee what is going on, his responsibility. And it's him who has been, talking about the loss of jobs, 40,000 odd jobs from a recent study. Now, Dublin has gained around 10,000 of those jobs, and France and Milan has managed to accumulate the rest, as well as Amsterdam, etc., etc. Amsterdam probably in share trading and what have you. Now, he says that Brexit was a disaster. Thank God, some common sense. Because it has been a disaster for the United Kingdom. There's no getting away from it. You cut yourself off from your largest trading partner. Well, no longer a partner. Now a third country. Third-rate country at this rate, unfortunately. And not everyone voted for this. The people of London didn't vote for the Brexit, did they? Scotland didn't vote for the Brexit. Other places didn't vote for the Brexit. And my home city didn't vote for Brexit. Although, not that far from my home city of Norwich. Great Yarmouth, they voted for Brexit and they still do think it's great. Yeah, stupid people. Anyway, they always have been. Now, we had 525,000 workers back in 2016, and now it's lost just short of 40-odd thousand, according to Mainelli. And he spent years charting the fortunes of Britain's financial centre before becoming basically the mayor of it all, effectively, with hundreds of city firms, and it's far higher than 7,000 jobs that were initially thought that were going to be lost. 40,000 jobs, I'm going to keep repeating it, 40,000 jobs lost in the financial sector. Now, there have been some gains since Brexit, but not because of Brexit. It would have happened anyway. Now, there's been a growth in the sector of insurance, probably because that would be because of Brexit, maybe, because many of the EU-based insurance companies can no longer trade in the UK either. So they would have left or jiggled things about, or set up in the UK. So now technically it's a UK company, but it's still the same company, if you know what I mean. It's a subsidiary of. So insurances have increased in the United Kingdom, but also AI and analysts and data and what have you within the financial sector. That has also increased in London, but that would have happened anyway, with or without Brexit. So, 40,000 jobs lost. Yes, not 7,000, 40,000. Now, they voted for Remain as well. Like I said, 70-30% for Remain. Now, he says we need to bolster our relationship with the continent. Well, unless you're going to get a continuation of memorandums of understanding, and if you're going to get a continuation of euro clearing, well then that isn't going to happen, is it? So euro clearing is destined to end in 2025. It might be delayed, we'll see. These things are quite complicated, aren't they? Now, Keir Starmer, Our Prime Minister, oh God, I hate saying that. He's not really mine, is he? Now, Britain's new Prime Minister has sought to rebuild relations with the continental Europe, damaged by years of fractious Brexit negotiations. He's just doing continuation of much of the same. Offers have been made to the United Kingdom, and they're not being... Well, he's goes against our red lines. Red lines. And unless we loosen our red lines to some degree, we're never going to get anything from the European Union because they have a clear set of rules. This isn't about feelings. This is about, well, just the rules, you know? If you don't abide by the rules of the European Union, well, then you're not going to get anything out of the European Union. As simple as that. You know? And all this stuff will include some jurisdiction by the European Court of Justice, the ECJ. I've said this so many times in the past. You can't get anything without oversight. And that oversight is provided by the courts, in this case the European Court of Justice. Well, they're not going to want British courts to be oversighting things that are going on in the EU, are they? You're outside of the blooming EU now. No one's going to expect that. It's crazy. It really is. Now, London, as much as you hate it, it is kind of like the jewel of the crown. It really is. You know, it provides a very large percentage of the UK economy. I can't remember what it is, something like 10% or whatever it is, of the UK economy. Pretty much London is supporting the rest of the country. And I know there's a divide between the north and the south. That's what happens. People congregate where the work is. You know, people used to always travel to London to actually, because it was the land of milk and honey and all that. You know, it's always been the case. What we need is new industrial sectors and new industrial centres. Yeah, the banking centres in London is always going to be in London, even with the ease of communications these days. There's nothing like, you know, touching base with actual people and building relationships. You can't really do that online. You really can't. Not to that degree, anyway. So, the economic output is the heart of Britain's financial sector, including banks and wealth funds, and it's fallen by as much as 15% since Boris Johnson was the Prime Minister. Okay, he's not Prime Minister now, but 15%. That's huge. Overall financial services output in Britain has fallen by 1% since 2019. A lot of this is getting, building up towards the end of the transition period in 2021. We didn't have a deal at that point, did we? As Boris Johnson got into power because we had this so-called oven-ready deal, you know. As oven-ready as bringing out a frozen turkey the day before Christmas. So the British financial services exports have been overtaken by other business services such as law and advertising. Try to sell you the stuff that you do not need. So it's fair to say that Brexit has seriously affected the UK financial sector, which is obviously based in London, within about a square mile, and as such it's reduced our tax take. So if whatever Rachel Reeves managed to do, she needs to compensate for the losses. Now you can have as high a GDP as you like. If, we can increase our GDP by 100%. It doesn't make any difference to our tax take if the costs of producing an additional GDP has also gone up by 100% or so, or equals what the GDP is of the time. It's clear to say that it's doesn't make any sense to pursue that course, that direction. We need to be able to expand and increase it. We need a high GDP, but we need a high profit margin so we get a higher tax take. And constantly squeezing people in the pocket is not going to give you a higher tax take because people will spend, they'll spend less. And I'm talking about ordinary folk. I'm not talking about the rich buggers out there who really ought to be, sharing the burden. They've made that money off the back of others. Those who are paying, basic taxes. So why should those who are paying basic tax and barely make ends meet be the ones who are coughing up with flipping austerity and a lack of services and... Yeah, why? No. Now, I sincerely hope she knows what she's doing and her budget will make a positive change for ordinary people, but I can't see it coming. I might be wrong. I really do hope I am, you know. But she's trying to claw back money from the wrong people. They did it from, well, right at the beginning, like, for instance, they get rid of the fuel allowance for the elderly, and it just feels wrong. When you've got people out there whizzing around in supercars and their big old houses, and they've got enough money to offshore into some bank account where they're paying no taxes and what have you, those are the people we need to be hitting hard. The problem is, many of those people are the ones who are actually in government, so don't expect it to happen anytime soon. And also, let's say, for instance, Keir Starmer isn't one of those people, which he probably isn't. Well, why the hell is he not actually pushing for higher taxes on the rich? Instead, he's rolling back on it. The promises that were in that manifesto, he's rolled back on, which is very frustrating. Is it because he's got money and he's offshoring it himself? I don't think that's what it is. I think it's because the powers to be, which are those with the money, the likes of Murdoch and what have you, I think they're the ones putting the pressure on the government and for twisting their arm. I really do. That's why we should need to squeeze their power by, well, making lobbying illegal, for instance, at this start. You shouldn't be having people knocking on their doors and saying, OK, then, we will treat you well if you treat us well. You know, we've got a media, you know. Oh, we run the Daily Mail and the Telegraph. Treat us well and we'll treat you well. If you don't, we're going to screw you. That's pretty much what they did to Jeremy Corbyn. Was he really as bad as what they wanted us to believe? Is Keir Starmer really as bad as they want us to believe? Huh? I don't think so. But you're happy to criticise Keir Starmer because he had a meeting with Taylor Swift, for Christ's sake. Where's all the criticism from the right wing when Boris Johnson was partying with the Lebedevs? And then he put him in the flipping House of Lords as a Lord of Siberia. Where was all the outrage from the right wing? There wasn't any. Where was the outrage from the Tory party? There wasn't any. But Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, meets with Taylor Swift, someone who dances around on stage, singing dodgy songs. It's pathetic. It's pathetic, but also it's dangerous and it's damaging the country. And it's going to prevent any government who's been treated this way from actually doing any good. Instead of attacking policies, how about actually explaining why those policies are coming into fruition in the first place? That might be helpful, help people understand what's going on. Maybe some articles about how politics actually works. How about educating our young? That'd be very good. So they have more of an understanding of what's going on. Well, actually, how about educating the flippin' old? The likes of those who are now supporters of the Reform Party have no blooming clue what's going on. They think they do, but they clearly don't. The old buggers who probably just let go of £300 so they can go on a tour around Parliament, which is not going to come through because, well, it's legal. But they'll still hand over cash to Nigel Farage. These people are so besotted with these charlatans, snake oil salesmen, because they feel that they have a similar mindset. But no, these people are just gullible. They're fools. And people who voted for Brexit were fools. They did not do their research, or they were taken in which you could argue that is a fool by definition. Anyway, what you say? Please leave it in the comments down below. Because I do read the comments, but you probably already know. Yeah, I have to go through all those horrible ones as well, you see. Anyway, if you want to support the channel, do it on Patreon or buy us a coffee, the links are down below. But let's hope that Rachel Reeves's budget will actually improve on things, because it'll give the money and where it's really, really needed. Also, we do a rewind here in France. We're planting 1,000 trees on 2 hectares of land. And if you want to take part in that, there's a GoFundMe link down below where you can make a little donation. We'll plant a tree on your behalf. And I'll make a sign to go with the tree. It could be in memory of a loved one or just your name if you like. Anyway, it's time for me to go. So I'm going to say toodaloo, So toodaloo.